Hey guys, how's it going? It's me. It is mid-afternoon. It's going to paste the stream link here, streaming a few updates and reviewing some mailers. Watch here. Submit. All right. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to a few updates. So, first thing I want to talk about is what was I calling it? 5 minutes or five? The first five. First five, and then there was that. I'm just going to use that as an kind of a clue for myself, just an M. I don't want to give that away. I don't want to give the topic away. Then we have the we'll call that one A, and then we'll have the mailer review. Okay, so first five. So I was thinking about the videos that I've been doing recently have been more instructional, essentially having you guys participate in work in real time and kind of training as I go, and just giving you exposure to the things that I'm doing and allowing you to participate in kind of the actions of what I've got going on. But what's missing is how I was doing it before. You'd have the 4 or 5 minute updates, and so the 4 or 5 minute updates have been replaced with these hour and a half, 2 hour long productions that are more of hey, participate with me live while I review a contract. Or what else do we have? We've done some Photoshop work, and we've done a CMA training class and the open house training class, and we did a financial analysis together. So these things are taking a lot longer, and so there's a lot of value there, but it's also a really big investment. An hour and a half is that's a big chunk out of people's day. So we've left the world of 5-10 minute updates, and we've entered this world of hour and a half long content extravaganzas. And I'm aware of the fact that that those are two different things, and I've been thinking about I wanted to figure out a way where I can I want to do both, right? So I want to have the ability to deliver 5-10 minute updates to you, or talk very briefly on a topic, but I also want to allow you guys to participate in the bigger stuff as well. So the longer things. So the brief things and the longer things. I want to do it all, right? So my challenge though is just, I shouldn't say challenges is the right word. It's just more of a convenience thing, or that's also not the right word. Practicality. That's probably a good word. Doing a I suppose I can say that it's simply more practical to merge the two things together, and that's what I've decided to do. So this first five is going to be where, in some of the streaming that I do, I'll spend the first 5 minutes providing more of a general update, or hey, here's something that happened today. I want you guys all to learn from it, or what have you. So 5 minutes will be more just catching up, topic of the moment, something I want you guys to be aware of, and then I'll transition into the class, or the whatever function I'm including you guys in, whether it's helping an agent with doing a broker's price opinion, or a financial analysis of a commercial property, or a contract review, or one of the other classes that I teach, any of these things, right? So we'll have 5 minutes of, hey, here's an update on some stuff, and then we'll transition into, hey, here's the bulk of the content. So, or the bulkier content. So what I'm going to do is up here in Broker Daily, I'm going to try and break this down a little bit better, where maybe we'll have like, let's see, we'll do like, so we'll have the date, and then maybe we'll do like, I was thinking that we would do like a timestamp. So we'll have like columns. So 11:18, and then I'll have a timestamp like 5:12, which means that on 11:18's stream, the first 5 minutes and 12 seconds are topical stuff. That's stuff that happens, something I want you to learn from, the quick topics, the brief updates. So that first column will denote the amount of the beginning of the stream that was dedicated to brief topics. And then from there, we'll transition into the bulk of the content, which for today is going to be mailer review. So on this day, the first 5 minutes and 12 seconds is the short topics, and then we transition at that timestamp, we transition into the long topic. And maybe on a certain day, I won't have any of that short topic. I'll just go straight into the long topic. So tomorrow, if I went straight into tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be doing I just got an email from the production company, are changes that we made to, last week we did a stream where we walked through the newest version of the Second Earth video, and or the Second Earth commercial, I guess, if you will. And the commercial's not the right word. Video is the right word. So it's more educational, informative. And in any case, last week we reviewed that Earth video. We just got the changes back on it, so not in this stream right now, but in my next stream I'll be reviewing the Earth video. So let's say I do that tomorrow morning or later tonight. Let's say I don't cover anything briefly. I'll just say 00, and then we'll do Earth video review. So that's kind of the structure I'm thinking about. I'm not 100% sure that's how it's going to work, but that's what I'm planning on for right now. So the date, how long the intro piece is, stuff that everybody should watch. So everybody should watch the first, however long this is. And then if you're interested in the bulkier content, you can continue on and participate with me as I cover that topic. So that's the first 5. So you're going to get the best of both worlds. You'll have those short 4, 5, 6, 7 minute briefer things of content, and then you'll also get the longer content. And I think that's a good way to handle it. So I'll feel it out. If it needs to be changed, I will. But for the foreseeable future, at least for the next couple of weeks, I'd like to try it that way, and let's see how it works out. All right, this word is, and of course these are just examples. So the second word here, the second topic, is moratorium. Is that how you spell that? Moratorium? I'm putting a moratorium on bringing new agents to Atova. It's not permanent. It's not like we're, but it's for the foreseeable future. So at least until the end of the year, into spring, somewhere in that territory. I guess I want everybody, getting ahead of myself. I guess I'm not getting ahead of myself. It's just that there's like 7 things I want to say at the same time. The first thing is that we've brought on a lot of great agents recently. I'm very, very, very pleased with the quality of candidate that you guys have been bringing me. Um, as you know or should know by now, we don't, Atova does not recruit. So we're not at the real estate school saying, come to Atova, come to Atova. We're not soliciting everybody at every other brokerage saying, come to Atova, come to Atova. We did some of that, years ago, but for the past, 2 years, give or take, the only agents that we have brought onto Atova are agents that other Atova agents have recommended. And in the past 6 months, there's been several and really great people. So I'm really excited for the new agents that we've brought on board. I believe they're quality folks, and I believe that they are and will continue to make us stronger. With that being said, I want to, Atova has a maximum count of 80 agents, and right now we're slightly above that. So, and we have this natural attrition thing that happens. So um, I'm not, and I'm very fortunate, and I'm very grateful for the fact that we have a very loyal organization. So our turnover at Atova is very, very minimal, and so we don't have this revolving door that a lot of brokerages have, and I think that that's really something special, and it's something that I value a lot. With that said, there are agents that, of course, just kind of fall out of the business, and so that happens naturally, right? They you I don't want to belittle anybody, but if you're just kind of if you're not putting effort in, you get out what you put in, right? And so if agents have effectively retired from doing any business, eventually they leave the business. And so we've been very fortunate in that we've had this kind of equilibrium, and right now, with a lot of new agents coming on, the equilibrium is a little bit off balance. So, to restore the equilibrium, we put a temporary moratorium on bringing on new agents. We let a little bit of that natural attrition occur, and then we get back into balance, and then we can lift the moratorium and continue to bring on quality folks. So I don't want you if there's somebody that you know that you really feel would be a great match here, don't feel that you can't recommend them and connect me with them. That's something that certainly you can continue to do. Just know that for for right now, I'll be telling those folks that we're full, and I will be happy to put you on our wait list, if you will. So it's and I was going to say this, it's less than ideal, is what I was going to say, but I don't think it is less than ideal. I think it's a balance thing, right? So as long as you're always paying attention and adjusting for balance, then you're good. And right now, putting a moratorium on bringing on new agents, I think, is appropriate to preserve that balance. So that is that topic. So that's effective now. So Atova is not bringing on any new agents as of right now. I will be happy to put people on our wait list, and that's a figurative speaking thing. There's no like wait list, but figuratively speaking, I can put people on the wait list and let them know that come next year into spring, that we may lift the moratorium. And we're certainly interested in partnering with them and having them, potentially be part of the family. But for now, we're all full up. So that moratorium exists as of today. Honestly, a good way to look at that is if you're in, congratulations. You're in. There's Atova is not open door for everybody. So if you're here, congratulations. You're one of the special few. So, uh, A, what was A for? A was for Apple. A was for oh um, automated automation. I guess is a fair word. Automated marketing. I would say is probably a fair way to look at that. So, or a fair thing to call it. All right, so automated marketing. So back at the last office meeting, one of the things that we talked about was how um, the real estate industry is at risk of disruption. So we have uh, lots of different entities making business, lots of different businesses, startups and established businesses alike, beginning to make moves to disrupt the way that real estate currently functions. And so you have um, well, there's I don't want to go into those details, but just know that there are. So just imagine like the VCR and the DVD, and then the DVD and streaming. So the VCR was everything, and then DVDs came along, and the VCR was nothing, and DVDs were everything, and then streaming came along, and now you don't go to Best Buy anymore, or you don't go to Blockbuster, to rent your movies. You just stream them all. So disruptive technologies. So there's a lot of disruptive plays in the real estate space right now, where where companies are trying to roll out technologies and roll out solutions that will effectively eliminate, or at the very least largely change, the way that we all make money. And essentially, imagine saying, an extreme example is you no longer need realtors, you no longer need MLSs, because we now have this one-stop technology that enables you to review properties on your own and schedule showings, and you use our app with our special lockbox, and you can access the properties on this time, and you fill out your offers online, and everything's just they take the people out of it, and you automate a lot of it. So all of a sudden it's and oh, by the way, it's not a 6% commission anymore. It's $1,000 flat fee. So if somebody rolls out a technology solution like that, or other variations thereof, um, it's possible that the income that we're all dependent upon, that income structure goes away, very much like the VCR or the DVD. So, with that being said, the two things that we talked about in the office meeting are having two paths that we're walking at the same time. One path that we're walking is the preserve what we have path. That's we're fighting to keep our industry the way that it is. Certainly, adopting efficiencies and better practices to streamline things and make things more functional from both an agent perspective and a consumer perspective, but the essentially preserving the commission structure of how things work today. And I think that the way that we can really the only ways that we have to preserve that, hopefully forever, but at the very least for as long as we can, is to have better connections with people. So and better service and just better everything. So it's like why does there exist a place in downtown Boise where you could go spend $14 for a hamburger, when I could get that same hamburger at Burger King for $1.25? Not the same hamburger, but a hamburger for $1.25. And the reason is the experience, right? So it's a better experience. The service is better, the environment is better, the quality of the product is better. So that fancier restaurant exists in downtown Boise because of those value added components. We need to make sure that we are implementing those value add components, because if our service and the disruptive technology service are effectively the same, then why would you pay 6% for something that you could get for $1,000, right? You wouldn't. So really acknowledging that and beginning to become much more robust and much more refined in those areas: relationships, service, quality of product, and in our industry, safety. Yeah, it's great. You can automate it, do it $1,000, but guess what? You've just exposed yourself to a $2 million lawsuit because such and such didn't get handled correctly. So those types of things are important, and we're going to need to hit those types of things. We're going to need to hit that well. We're going to need to execute well in those areas. We also need to. So this is still the preserving portion. So our is the real estate industry going to be disrupted? And if so, how can we preserve things? How can we keep our revenue streams there in a changing environment? So one piece is the stuff I just talked about, the service and the quality and those things. And another component, though, is connections. So it's relationships. It's the part of it that deals with, yeah, you can work with the computer that is from the company that is a startup out of San Francisco, or you can work with the person who's local right here in Boise that lives here and knows the market and can meet with you across your dining room table in an hour. So the personalization and the connection with the community is the other piece of it. So in preserving what we have, we're looking at increasing the quality of what we do, having a strong value proposition, and also connecting with people on a people basis, on a local basis. And so, and I guess the other piece of that is that we need to do it at volume. So you can't, you can have a great message and a great offering, but if you don't have market penetration, if that message isn't getting out, if you're not reaching enough people, it's all for naught, right? So the last component of that is volume. Do we have enough volume going out that we're penetrating the market sufficiently for these efforts to work? And so to that end, automated marketing. So one of the things that Atova is launching, and I've talked about this for years, but that and it's something I've wanted to do, and it's something that we've kind of tested the water here and there with. But in hiring Alex, if you remember, Alex was the gentleman at the office meeting that was doing the videography. Alex is a full-time employee, and he is our marketing manager, if you will. So as the marketing manager, Alex is going to be helping me and driving the marketing concepts, the marketing initiatives that we have. So I'm I strengths and weaknesses. So I think it's important to know your strengths and weaknesses, right? So one of my weaknesses is time. I've got a million great ideas, but having enough time to execute them all is something that is elusive, right? I think it's elusive for anybody. So hiring Alex is a solution to that time weakness. And so I've been working with Alex now for the past month, give or take, and Susie's been working with Alex, and there's a very strong, a strong, real um, collaborative relationship forming there. So it's turning out really well. So far, I'm very, very pleased. So we'll talk more about all the different things. Whoops. We'll talk more about all the different initiatives that Alex is working on, that we're working on in the days ahead. But for now, I wanted to focus on one component of that, and that is a part of the automated marketing. So, with one portion of the automated marketing that we are um, deploying now is that every new listing gets a flyer and a mailer, and they get automatically printed and they get automatically mailed. So I look at it like a little carpet bomb. It's a really bad way to say it, but it's let me get a new document up here, or just one of these things. So not a new document, but open up Photoshop, and then we'll create a little new guy here. So with listings, so listings are an opportunity to connect with people. Honestly, is what they are. Listings are an opportunity to connect with people, and the people that listings most readily enable you to connect with are the neighbors in the surrounding area, because everybody is curious about the home down the street that went up for sale. Everybody wants to know, how much is it going for, and is it cute inside, and have they taken care of that property, and I wonder how long it's going to take to sell, and will it sell at full price, and people are aware of what's going on in their neighborhoods, and people are curious about the listings that come on the market. So what that does, and you guys know this is not new information. What it is, though, is it's again, it's time. So a lot of weaknesses from an agent standpoint is so here's one of your weaknesses, um, if I may be so bold, is that you as an agent, and I get a listing, and I'm going to put it on the MLS, and I think it's probably going to sell in a couple days, a week, a couple weeks. My expectation is that my listing is going to sell because that's the kind of market that we have right now. And so in that environment, there's always this piece of or this thought. I don't really need to do a lot of extra work when I know putting the home in the MLS and a sign in the yard and hitting the internet, which happens automatically, is probably going to be enough to get my home sold. And so when you know that, it's logical that you don't spend a lot of other time in marketing it. But the problem there is that there's these huge missed opportunities. There's these missed opportunities for connection. And so if there's a new listing in an area, so let's say that that's a new listing, obviously there's a neighborhood, right? And so you have like neighborhoods, and we could do it like, I don't mind, um, it doesn't really matter what area. So if you have a house there, you could just choose like, you could do a mile radius, or you could do east of this street, west of this street, south of this street, and north of this street. Um, and it doesn't matter what area you're choosing. What matters is that every time that you have a listing, let me get a better color here that stands out a little more. Oh, I'm in grayscale. Image, oops, let me get rid of that. Whoa. Image mode RGB. Okay, there we go. And then here. So we get a listing in an area. Let me go a little larger. We'll go here. All right. So we get a listing. And let me do one more thing. We'll go to there. Okay. Hooray. All right. So we get a listing. And then what we do is we immediately do mailings to everybody around them. And then we get another listing, uh, 5 miles away, and we immediately do mailings to everybody around them. And then we get another listing, we immediately do mailings there. So eventually you look at the entirety of the Treasure Valley, and you have a new listing here, and we mailed them, and then a new listing there, and we mailed them, and then a new listing there, and we mailed them, and we mailed them. Right. So every new listing gets a is like a it's like a bomb, if you will. So we have a listing. Look at it. That's a horrible way to look at it, but look at every new listing on a map as a bomb. So when we get the listing, a little bomb goes off, and we mark it to everybody in that area. That is going to happen automatically from now on. So every time you take a listing, the certain things are going to happen automatically. First thing that's going to happen is that we get the photos from you if you're doing professional photos. So that's the other thing is professional photos are going to essentially be required. Um, so there's a cost component here that I need to address. So this automated marketing thing, um, it doesn't come cheaply, right? There's time, effort, and money that has to be invested in making this a reality. And so the way I'm planning on doing it is that when you get a listing, Atova will cover the cost of of getting the mailer done. So you're responsible for your photography, and that should be professional photography. If you're a very good photographer and you want to do it on your own, that's great. But quality photography is going to be required, and that's something that you're responsible for all of your listings. In from now moving forward, even if it's a $190,000 house and you know it's going to sell in 1 minute, you have to have quality photos that are worthy of a professionally designed flyer, a professionally printed flyer that's going to be mailed to everybody in the neighborhood. So from there, so you supply the professional photos. From there, Atova will cover the rest of the costs up front. So what we're going to do is you get a listing, you supply professional photos. We're then going to do the flyer proof and the flyer mailer. So two versions of the flyer. One for the flyer box, one that can be mailed. In fact, I've got one here. The last piece of this class today is going to be mailer review, and we're going to walk through these mailers as I proof them. So here is a good example. So this is the back of the flyer, and then here is the back of the mailer. So it's the same property, but one has this mailer section up here, which of course the one in the flyer box doesn't need. So the one for the flyer box has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos in the back. The one for the mailer has 5 photos in the mailer section. So you get a new listing, you get professional photos to us. We're going to create 2 versions, one flyer for the flyer box, 2 mailers for the mailing. You approve these items, so you make sure that it reads right and that the price is right, and so you proof it and you approve it. Then we're going to send it to press. We're going to get them printed. The flyers, we're going to mail them. You can either pick them up at the office or we can mail them to you. Either way, it's up to you. You can specify. And then the mailing, though, the mailing piece is going to happen automatically. So once you've approved the flyer mailer, it's going to go to press, and we're going to receive the printed documents back. We're going to prepare the mailing, and we're going to take that mailing to the post office. So it's automated. It's automated. All of those little tiny explosions all over the Treasure Valley are going to happen automatically with every new listing that Atova gets. Now, the long term, so the financial way that this is going to work is that you supply the professional photos, whether you're taking them or having someone take them for you. You're going to, as an Atova agent that's taking the listing, you are obligated to provide quality photography. That's going to be just a requirement of having your license at Atova. It kind of goes without saying. We're already 95% of the way there. So now we're going to get 100% of the way there. So every listing has professional quality photos. You give the photos to us. You get back, after you've approved the proof, you get a stack of mailers for the flyer box and for inside the property, and automatically these little explosions of mailing the neighborhood are happening with every new listing. There's also, it's because it has to be a two-piece thing. So there's the mailing that says, hey, look at this wonderful new listing, and there's the mailing that comes later that says, hey, I was successful and I can sell yours too. So there's two mailings that are happening automatically with every new listing that we get. Now, as far as the cost of all this, you're responsible for, this is my third time to try and get through the cost piece. You're responsible for supplying professional photography or professional quality photography. Then Atova is going to front the cost of the labor required to do all of this and the printing cost of all of it and the postage cost of all of it. And if the listing doesn't sell for any reason, Atova will eat that cost. So it's a zero risk proposition for you. But if the listing does close, Atova will take reimbursement from the proceeds of your sale, the cost of the printing and the postage. And Atova will cover the labor. So Alex's salary that is required to do this work for you, to take the photos and design the proof and then make any changes and then send it to press and get the documents back from press and then prepare the mailing and then take the mailing to the post office. The labor that's involved in deploying this solution in Alex's payroll and in Susie's payroll, I'm sure Susie's going to be, as always, a big part of it. So Atova will cover that cost. I'm not going to pass any of that cost along to you, but you will be responsible for reimbursing Atova for the printing and postage cost, which we'll take out of the commission. Now, what I figured that we would do is, one thing I'm not willing to do is I considered allowing like an opt-out thing where agents could say, no, I'm opting out of that. But the problem there is that it's too short-sighted. You have to remember that this carpet bombing thing is part of the things that we're doing to preserve our income. It's one of the things that we're doing to fight against disruptive technology, because you're leveraging your listings to connect with the people in the communities. And so this will have a snowball effect, I expect, and it'll enable us to get more listings, which will cause there to be more carpet bombing, which will result in more listings again, etc., etc., and the snowball will grow. So from a honestly, from a survival perspective, I really believe that growing the volume of marketing that we're doing and showing folks that we're in their neighborhoods, we're part of their community, I think that's going to be key. And so this is one example of the things that we're going to be doing to protect ourselves. But what I am going to do, so I'm not going to give. I don't want to create. Honestly, I believe strongly enough that this is important enough that we do make it a universal thing. What I am going to do is give every Atova agent a measure of control when it comes to the volume of this. So the things that are going to happen without exception is professional photography, flyer design, mailer design, approval of that, printing of both those documents, flyers go to the agents, mailers get mailed out automatically. Where you have a measure of control is in the volume of that. So, like, I haven't figured it out yet. I got to run the numbers, but I'm thinking, 200, 200 pieces maybe, maybe 250 as the baseline. So a baseline of if you're an Atova agent, this is something that you're buying into and part of, and the minimum that you can participate is 200 mailers with every new listing that you get. And what that does is it keeps your cost basis to a minimum. So 200 mailers is whatever, it's $40 to print and $40 to mail, let's say. So $80 is what is going to cost you when your listing sells to have this done automatically for you every time. It's a no-brainer. Of course you want that. It's not going to cost you. It's going to pay in the long run. So, nevertheless, it's still $80, right? And so we're going to establish a minimum where this is what happens with every listing no matter what, but then also provide a scale selection for you so you can opt into more if you want. So if you want to say, hey, for this listing, I'd like to do 500, please. We'll kick you up to that 500, and so you have, and that's really easy to do, right? It's just choose the size of the area that we're mailing to, and then make sure we order the corresponding number of prints. So in any case, there will be a baseline, and I'll figure that out in the days ahead. I'll share it with you in a forthcoming video. But there'll be a baseline of every time we get a new listing, this is what's going to go out, and this is what it's going to cost you if your listing sells. If your listing doesn't sell, Atova will eat the cost, and that way you're never coming out of pocket. And if you want to opt in to a larger mailing, double it, triple it, quadruple it, we can look at doing that as well. And I'll provide the scale and the cost structure. I'll give you guys a table so you can decide decide what you want to do with your listings. And if you want to give us like a universal, like, hey, I want to do 500 for all my listings, we'll put you on that default. And if you ever want to crank it up or dial it back for a particular listing, just let us know. It won't be it'll be easy to be dynamic and agile in that way. So that, I believe, is it for this part of the automated marketing. That's happening now. And to that end, mailer review. When I say that's happening now, I mean it's happening now. So I have I have 3 flyers up here, 3 mailers that we need to review. So this takes us into our, oh wow, I've got like this blue, oh, it's from the sun. If I put my hand over here, right where the sun's coming into the camera, it goes back to normal. Hi, I'm purple, not purple, purple, not purple, purple, not purple. I'm just going to hang out and be purple for a while. Mailer review. So, automated marketing in the way that we just discussed is happening now. Let's review some mailers so that we can get these ready to be sent out. So, let's take a look at what we've got here. So this is one for Kevin, and I've already looked at all of these. This is probably the third round of proofing for 1 or 2 of these, and the second round of proofing for the other 2. So really just looking for layout here. Is there any layout issues? The header looks good. Photo looks good. Photo placement looks good. Photo colors look good. There's some leaves, which is fine. I mean, it's fall. There looks to be like right here. That doesn't look like a leaf. It looks like some dead grass and maybe like a rock or some debris or something. I might use the magic wand tool there. I'm going to just talk to Alex. So essentially I've been proofing with Alex. So um, kind of essentially trying to get him and I on the same wavelength with regards to, so he sees some stuff and makes some adjustments, and then I see other stuff and he makes those adjustments. So kind of getting on the same wavelength so that what he's producing is matches really what I would produce if I was doing it myself. So for pretty much in the history of Atova, if we've been sending flyers out to press, um, I've been involved in most of those. If we're printing flyers in house, Susie does that. If you guys want quick, dirty flyers in the past, or quick and easy flyers in the past, Susie's busted those out. She's done a great job at it. But if we were actually going to press to have things professionally printed, I usually will get involved to make sure that the color balance is right and that all the subtle details that I look at. So I'm trying to get, or I will be, and I know it's possible because Alex is super he's attentive to detail, and he's also very receptive, and he's a knowledgeable guy. So um, Alex, what we can do here is just magic wand this one little piece out. Excuse me, not magic wand, but clone out that little guy right there. And the rest of it's just leaves. I'm not worried about any of that. You already did the color change here. The first time we did this photo, we did a color balance. We did a little too much red, but we fixed that. That photo looks good now. Let's see down here, 4790 North Savannah Lane, Garden City, Idaho 83714. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2551 square feet, 0.19 acres, built in 1990. For more photos, please visit atova.com on your smartphone. Impressive home in a wonderful location. Step into this gorgeous home and take in the waterfront views of Plantation Green, as well as the fairway on the front nine. A stunning 2-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior. I think this comma might be gone. Shouldn't be here. A stunning 2-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior featuring impeccable finishes. Yeah, I think that should be gone. So here we're going to say clone out the one item of debris in the front yard. Hey, I'm not purple anymore. Yay. So we'll just do that. And then we also are going to have that comma. And we'll just say this. Remove comma to read. Okay. Let's just make sure that that's right. So, a stunning 2-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior, features impeccable finishes. Yeah. All right. A stunning 2-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior featuring impeccable finishes and upgrades, all complemented by the generous view that the many windows provide. Perfect. I think that reads well if we get rid of that comma. Step into this gorgeous home and take in the waterfront views of Plantation Green as well as the fairway on the front nine. A stunning 2-entry opens to a bright and spacious interior featuring impeccable finishes and upgrades, all complemented by the generous view that the many windows provide. That's good. Enjoy the lush scenery from the comfort of a fully fenced backyard, or take in the view from the second-story balcony. Also good. The comfort of a private road is complemented by close proximity to grocery stores and many restaurants. Have we used the word complemented above here yet? We did. Complemented and then complemented. Oh, we have a spelling error. So one is E and one is I. I don't even know which one it is. Complemented. I think that's right. I don't know. Let's find out. Yep, it's the E. The E is correct. All right, um, so let's say that the first complemented is spelled incorrectly. I spelled incorrectly. Complemented by the generous view that the many windows provide. Okay, so we have another problem with this, the word used twice. So let's see, this is sentence 1, sentence 2. So there's one sentence in between. Let's take a look and see if, let's read it all together to see what's up. So, step into this gorgeous home and take in the waterfront views of Plantation Green, as well as the fairway on the front nine. A stunning two-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior. Steve. All right. Impressive home in a wonderful location. Step into this gorgeous home and take in the waterfront views of Plantation Green, as well as the fairway on the front nine. A stunning two-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior featuring impeccable finishes and upgrades, all complemented by the generous view that the many windows provide. Enjoy the lush scenery from the comfort of a fully fenced backyard, or take in the view from the second-story balcony. The comfort, we have two comforts too. Comfort and comfort. That one's even worse, I think, because it's one sentence after the other. Enjoy the lush scenery from the comfort of a fully fenced backyard, or take in the view from the second-story balcony. The comfort of a private road is complemented by close proximity to grocery stores and many restaurants. This home boasts the best features of a quiet, comfortable neighborhood with city life next door. So, comfort, comfort, comfortable. Um, Probably too many comforts. So I'm just going to comfort, comfortable. Too many. And then we also need to say complemented, and then sentences. Sentences. So let's just read that complemented again. A stunning two-story entry opens to a bright and spacious interior featuring impeccable finishes and upgrades, all complemented by the generous view that the many windows provide. Enjoy the lush scenery from the comfort of a fully fenced backyard, or take in the view from the second-story balcony. The comfort of a private road is complemented by a close... I think you can get away with this one, maybe. I'm going to say I can't decide. I'm going to say evaluate. Okay. And I should probably just shrink this down a little bit. Make it a little bit more manageable here. Okay, so, and we'll just do 1, 2. Again, this is just so, for like legibility purposes. Okay. I do like it. I mean, it reads really well other than those issues. Okay, so those are my notes. This is Savannah front. So Savannah front. And then we're going to do Savannah back. And let's take a look at the back. So, it looks pretty good. Some of these images are a little bit on the darker side. Here, I'll show you guys. So this looks pretty good. We've already done a curves. We adjusted the curves on this to lighten it up a little bit because the photo was a little dark. These look really good. Don't get me wrong. These images look great. The challenge is when you go to print. When you go to print and you're looking now at the printed piece, um, these images might feel a little bit dark on the printed piece. So on the screen, they look great. It's a backlit, illuminated screen. It's bright by definition. Um, these are really kind of on the border, though. I don't know. Just looking at the images, I don't know. I think they're probably okay. It might be interesting to run a test. We don't need to do it now, Alex, but just running curves on these images and then lightening them up, a little bit, 10, 15% lighter, not a whole lot, and having the pressman um, run you both so you can get a feel for. So if you print this version right here, if if it looks a little dark, and then you have the other version that you lightened up. Oh yeah, this one looks much better. Well, then you'll know, right? Um, you'll have a good feel for what looks too dark when you go to press and what looks better when you go to press. But as far as image placement, and honestly, Alex, I would say don't worry about adjusting any of these colors or don't worry about adjusting the curves on any of these images. So essentially, that's the brightness of everybody else. When I say curves in Photoshop, it's brightness, but they actually do have a brightness adjustment in Photoshop, but generally curves is a softer, more balanced way to adjust the brightness. So when I say curves, I mean brightness. So Alex, I would say don't worry about adjusting the brightness on these guys. I think let's go to press like this and let's see what that product looks like. If it feels like any of these photos are a little bit dark, for test purposes and for learning purposes, let's go back, adjust the curves on these, and go to press again and compare the two products. That exercise will enable you to get a better eye for where your curves need to be for optimal press results. Okay, and then on to the mailer version. Um, Susie, you asked me earlier today if we're going to do EDDM or if we're going to do individual addresses. And the answer to that question is we're going to do individual addresses. And the reason why, I thought about it after I had asked you a question in response, which was, I think it was, how many addresses are typically in a single carrier route. Because I was gonna have that be our driving decision. Um, but there's two reasons we don't want to use EDDM here. One is that we lose the control over the volume. So we have a if a typical EDDM carrier route is 4 to 600 addresses, then we can't do part of a route. We have to do the whole route, right? So it limits our agility to the minimum being 500, and then only being able to increase in approximately 500 unit increments. So we have to do 500 or 1,000 or 1,500. And I want to be more dynamic than that. And so we want to be able to do 200 or 300 or 400 or 500. So that's one reason we have to use addresses instead of EDDM. And then the other reason is delivery. So Susie, with EDDM, you have to take the mailing to the post office where the carrier route is. So if there's a listing in South Boise, we would have to take that we'd have to take that to the South Boise post office. If it's in Meridian, we have to go to the Meridian post office. And that restriction doesn't exist with individual addressing because we can just take them all to our local post office and it still works. So the the cost differential is very, very small, and the agility that we gain by not using EDDM is significant. So yeah, there's your answer, Susie. Um, and this is what spawned me to remember that is there's a different um, indicia is what they call it. There's a different indicia that we use for bulk mail compared to um, EDDM. Two different indicias. I wonder what. I always forget what that minimum is. Let's ask Susie right now. Susie. Hey, hey, that's awesome. My got a text from my dad that my brother. I'm gonna say woohoo, woohoo. My brother has been. He went to BSU, and then he got a job working for Simplot, and then Simplot sent him back to school to get his master's, and he went back to school and they sent him to Florida, um, and he's been going to school there, and he just got his doctorate. So he's been working on it for years. Obviously, his master's degree, and so my brother is now Dr. Chris Barbie, and he's a doctor of he's like strawberries. It's just like he's a strawberry scientist. Pretty cool. So, congratulations, brother. We're all proud of you. Very, very cool. I was gonna ask Susie um, because I don't remember what is the minimum quantity for bulk mail. Piece count? Question mark. What is the minimum quantity for bulk mail piece count? 250 comes to mind. So maybe that's going to be our baseline, and then you can add, in 50 unit increments. Okay, so let's see here. Photo placement. All right, I don't like how this part of the wall, it's 200. Thank you, Susie. Appreciate that. 200 will be our minimum. Oh, let's just ask her. What is cost for 200 flyer mailers? What is postage cost for 200 flyer mailers? Um, and oh, it's very dark in here. I'm not sure. I was gonna fix that really quick. That's probably not going to help very much. I think the challenge is that I think the challenge is that it's backlit. So because it's sunset time, the camera is closing its lens because of the light behind me. Okay, so here, Alex, if you remember on the it was another. I'm not sure if it was this photo or another one, but you get when you have a little bit of that wall showing, it messes up the edge of the photo. It looks like you can't really decipher what it is, and it kind of makes it look messy. So I would increase the size of this photo, and I would just make the image, make this part of the image go outside of the bounding box so that it disappears. So make the edge, somewhere along here, so that no part of this white stuff here is showing. Um, Okay, here we have a problem with this photo right here is not tall enough. So you'll probably need to, I'm not sure if you resized the bounding box or if you don't have the image large enough within the bounding box. But you can see that the height of this blue area is taller than the width here. So it's supposed to be square. So this is a square right here, this space. It's a square because this is as wide as this is tall. That is not happening here. This is taller than this is wide because either this image isn't filling up the bounding box or you may have resized the bounding box by mistake. Either way, we've got to fix that. So we're going to do number one, top right photo, increase image size within so that the right white wall is moved outside of the bounding box. Cost of printed mailers. This is why I love Susie, because it's like she's just an information wonderland. It's really cool to be able to have someone like Susie. So thank you, Susie. You're the best. Cost of 200 printed mailers with the local company. All right. Bounding box, and then two. What? There was something else we just looked at. I thought. Oh, this size. Center left image does not fill the bottom edge. Look at the blue area, blue negative space underneath the image. It is taller than its surrounding counterparts. Did you accidentally resize the bounding box, or is the image not filling the bounding box? All right, and so if we fix this and we fix that, then I think that image is good. Yeah, we know that there's sufficient image size there because look, there's plenty of image size. So it's something else. So then let's go here. We've done that, that, and that. All right. And then we've got those pieces. Then we're going to go to the next flyer here. This one's for Farzine. Hello, Farzine. This looks really sharp. Good looking listing. Farzine. Okay. Photo placement looks good. Photo quality looks good. Okay. Again, we have some fall, but that's okay. I think this distracts me a little bit. It looks like it's just a cloud. but it looks like it might be like that's just distracting. It catches my eye, and I don't want anything to steal my attention away from the house. So we're going to call this one Quail Ridge Front. Quail Ridge Front. Quail Ridge Front. Um, Bottom photo, top center cloud line is distracting, clone away. All right, and then Quail Ridge Drive, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, square feet, acres built. Okay, that looks good. Impressive home in a wonderful location. Enjoy beautiful and elegant single-level living in this home found in the coveted Quail Ridge neighborhood. Hardwood floors lead from the entry into an open great room, presenting a seamless flow for entertaining. Formal living and dining areas feature classic wainscoting and tray ceilings. Um, okay. Um, Tray ceilings is something that um, coffered is coffered and tray. Is tray the same as coffered? Oh, and it's Tray. Oh, down here it's Trey. I wonder what the correct spelling is. Let's ask right here. Tray ceiling with an E. They don't even answer that question there. Home guides, Hunker, design dictionary. And their design dictionary is saying it's AY. It might be one of those words where they're kind of used interchangeably. But let's go and see the difference between a coffered and a tray ceiling. Um, they often get lumped together into the same catch-all. There's similarities. However, there are differences, subtle and obvious. Okay. Article, they have this infographic. Okay, so coffers can be square, rectangles, or octagons. Coffered ceiling types. Okay, I can see the images here. Great. Okay, get it. I knew that is true. And then, okay, here we go. While coffered ceilings are similar, coffered ceilings have the effect of breaking up an interior space and making it more intimate and personal. Trade ceilings offer a much more grandiose architectural style, making rooms feel larger, more open, and okay, so then coffered, coffered, coffered. I thought we saw one thing that was a tray. Coffered ceilings, coffered ceilings, coffered ceilings, coffered, 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 coffered. I thought there was a reference to a tray ceiling in here. So the infographic only addresses coffered ceilings. That doesn't help. Okay, that's great. So you're telling us what is offered in a coffered ceiling. But then they don't tell us the details of what a tray ceiling looks like in comparison. Other than verbally, they tell us it's more grandiose. Um, Tray ceilings are almost okay. Coffered ceilings also could be designed to include a much broader variety of material expressions. such as a box beam ceiling. Tray ceilings are almost always wrapped in drywall and plaster and finished with some off-the-shelf flavor crown molding. Coffered ceilings, on the other hand, can be composed of wood, steel, or even glass. I don't know. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna say that they're the same. Um, here's the deal. The deal is, I think for the purposes of this flyer, that we might want to use coffered ceilings. I don't know. Let's see if there's a photo of them. So um, that's a tray ceiling right there. Um, and I would always call this a coffered ceiling. To me, that's a coffered ceiling, and I suppose this would be a tray ceiling. But this, by definition that I just read, that could be a tray ceiling as well. I don't know. It's subtle. I think we're okay using tray. Um, enjoy beautiful and elegant single level living in this home found in the enjoy beautiful and elegant single level living in this home found in the coveted Quail Ridge neighborhood. Hardwood floors lead from the entry into an open great room, presenting a seamless flow for entertaining. Formal living and dining areas feature classic wainscoting and tray ceilings. Large windows allow for morning sunrises to illuminate the house and start the day off right. All white countertops, as well as the master bathtub, will gleam in the sun. Entertaining is extended to the outdoors under the trellis, overlooking a gorgeous landscaped yard that's perfect for barbecues, community gatherings, and outdoor relaxation. Okay, that sounds really good. So I think we hit that. It's looking for debris. Nothing caught my eye the first time. So I think we make this one adjustment here, and I think that we're good there. Let's look at the back. So we've got, okay, Susie says it's $93.20 for the postage. All right, so then let's take a look. We've got, that photo looks good. 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 Looks good. And looks good. You can see right here how the window edge, so it goes the window, the white window trim, and you have a little bit of the brown wall showing through here. Whenever you have the things breaking up really close to the photo edge, it can make things look a little funky there. Like it almost looks like the photo comes in, like it's like not correct. You have a little bit of white popping out right there. So this brown area right here kind of blends in more with the blue than the white does, and so it looks like the photo might have like when you print it and you look at it, that brown might make it look like the photo edge is like not straight, and so I would probably increase that photo size just a little bit, tiny little bit, so the brown doesn't show off the side there. So I think, is that wider than that? Let's take a look. We're going to print screen that, and then we'll go into Photoshop, and we'll paste this. Let's take a look. So let's grab our little tool here and click, hold, and drag. Yeah, it is a little bit off. So you can see it's that much wider than it is tall. So we'll need to make that correction as well. And I'm not sure I know when I built the template, it was correct. But it looks like the same problem up here. So it looks like this whole, let's take a look here. I think we have that same problem there. In fact, I can just tell we do. It's wider than it is tall. So this area here, this line and here, these both need to come in. This one needs to come down. So if the top of this photo and the bottom of this photo are dropped down a little bit, and the bottom of this photo is brought up a little bit, we can restore these borders to being even. So to image borders are not, we'll say blue negative space borders are not equal in size. We're going to say the horizontal borders are smaller than the vertical borders. Okay, so we'll need to fix that. That might be a template. I wonder if it's on that other one that we looked at. Let's take a look. That's the one we've identified. Yeah, I can see it here too. Oh, I didn't notice that before. We have 1 pixel of sadness in that blue area, or this photo right here. It needs to be nudged up one pixel. So what is this? This is Savannah back. And that'll be 3. Bottom right photo needs to be nudged up 1 pixel. If you look at top of image close up, you can see what is that, like a light purple or something? Yeah. Or that might be, is that in the image or is that a border? And it looks like it ends right there, which is interesting. Yeah, it's like an artifact of the image. You could see a 1 pixel tall distortion, or 1 pixel tall line of some sort. Okay, so we have to say the same thing here then, because it's on that template as well. Okay, so we'll have to fix both of those. Then we're back to here. We did the first page, we were on the second page. I was going to talk about this image here. So we'll make this 2, and then this could be 3, 2. Bottom right image, left of window at left border, there is a bit of brown wall, which makes image edge look jaggy. Expand image size in the bounding box so that the left edge of the image is the white window frame instead of the brown wall. All right. As you can see, here's a good example. It's because we ended on the frame, it's a nice, smooth, even edge, versus up here how it looks choppy. Not that it would kill the flyer. I mean, it would be fine without it. Nobody, most people aren't going to notice, but um, it just looks and feels cleaner. You may not notice it, but the overall will look and feel cleaner if we make that adjustment. All right, so here we have, this is the right side. So we're going to say this is going to be the mailer, Oak Ridge back mailer. And I think this is supposed to say Oak Ridge back. And this is Oak Ridge front. Let me make sure I get this right here. So, sorry, Quail Ridge. Okay, this is Quail Ridge front. And then this is Quail Ridge back mailer. And we'll go ahead and take this call. Oh, they hung up quick. Let's see if they need me or not. And we can do continue to work at the same time, and I'll let you guys know what the question is as well. No, hey, no problem. Sorry I missed your call. What's happening? Yeah, can you hear me? No problem. What's happening? Okay. So we represent the buyer on this, right? And we got a check from them after the time period specified on the RE21. Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's anytime there's an initial change to a document, both parties should initial. Absolutely. Sure. Can you tell me what when you say she's having second thoughts, what's driving that? Well, I wouldn't wait that long. Now that we know that because we had a contingency on her um, seeing the units um, and she's now seen the units. She loves the building. She likes the units. So she's not skittish because of the of what she saw. She's skittish because of the price. And I think that waiting until we didn't. I don't think it made a lot of sense to invest a significant amount of time verifying the data in the pro forma until she had done her walkthrough. But now that she's done her walkthrough, I think we can go ahead and crunch those numbers for her now. I think waiting um, more, yeah, I think waiting more at this point would be bad. So I think we should do it, tonight, tomorrow morning, and then give her the numbers back. Um, but but go ahead. Well, like I said, the only way to do this is to print everything out, spread it out, and because we have Schedule E's and we have data from the property management company and we have data from the listing agent. There's data all over the place, and a lot of it is going to be um, duplicates of other stuff, right? So if we have information from the listing agent and then we have the Schedule E, they're both going to cover the same data points. And so we will print everything out and and spread it out on the table, and then from all of that data, we can extract um, the pieces of information that are from the most reliable sources. And so in this instance, it'll be the tax stuff. So we're gonna ignore what the agent reported to us, and we're gonna depend on the Schedule E. Now we'll also cross-reference the agent stuff to see if there's anything that the agent mentioned that isn't on the Schedule E, or anything that the agent provided us that's in conflict with the Schedule E, and we'll have to take note of those things so that we can potentially reconcile them later. But yeah, really the only way to do that when you have just tons of information, the best advice I can give is spread it out so that you can see it all on the table at once, and then you can extract from there the pieces that you're going to use to revise your pro forma. Then revise your pro forma, then compare it against all the other information sources, identify any conflicts, and take note of those conflicts so that we can discuss it with the agent. So I can do that for you later tonight, tomorrow morning, and then I can call you after. I can share with you my findings. We can discuss and go from there. But see, that's a while that's important, it's very important that we for this client that we do this due diligence for her. But it's um, it's I don't think you should the information. It's likely that the pro forma, if it's 8 times out of 10 when we when we do a pro forma based upon what the listing agent tells us, and then we do a pro forma based on what the Schedule E shows us, 8 times out of 10 the pro forma gets worse, not better. And so I ex- yeah, so I expect that if we showed her a 6.2 cap on the initial pro forma, if we go back to her, when we go back to her, we're only going to show her a 6 cap and less cash flow and less ROI at the end of year one. Everything's going to get worse. And so doing all of this work is not going to solve the problem. It might actually make the problem worse. And so so we still need to do the work, but while we're doing the work, you need to be. I think we should be uh, educating the client um, and finessing the client so that she understands what she's really buying here, right? So and that's not going to come from the pro forma, right? It's going to come from counseling her on the market dynamics on a broader level. So it's more of it's less of a, oh, here's the revised pro forma, now we're all good, right? No, rather what you're going to have to do, I expect, is um, largely the problem is going to be solved conversationally. So there's a piece where it's a you know your concerns are that the fourplex is overpriced, and I would say that I would agree with you to the extent that it is it's expensive. They are charging a bit of a premium for this property. And I think that's what you're feeling, right? I think you're feeling the fact when you say it's overpriced. I think what you're seeing is the reality that they're charging a premium for this property. But what you need to look at is whether or not that premium is justified. So in looking at the different floorplexes around town, this unit, this building seems to be by far and it does. I mean, I looked at those photos. It's a really nice little, it's adorable, right? That little fourplex community and all. It's like it's yeah. It doesn't feel like you're living in fourplex, development. It feels like you're living in a little mini, like Las Vegas or something. There's character to it, right? So there's character, and so yeah, yes, what you're feeling, what you're seeing when you're saying that this is overpriced, that it feels like it's overpriced. What you're seeing, what you're feeling is that they are in fact charging a premium. And so the question that you have to ask yourself is the premium worth it? And you and I saw the building together. You saw its condition. You saw that it's has great character. That it's surrounded by other buildings that are equal in character. The styles match, and they're all equally well maintained. And you have this. You're really buying into a quality product. And so, it comes down to, we could all drive, Datsuns, but some of us like to drive, an Acura or a Lexus or a Mercedes or even a Honda or a Chevy. It's a quality consideration. So, do you look at, if you buy a nicer car, you don't look at that car and say it's overpriced because you're comparing it to a Datsun. No, it's that you're getting what you pay for. So yes, I think that you're correct in sensing that this property feels a little bit overpriced. But the point of consideration that I think is important that you make is that there's value here that justifies that. And let's also not forget that you're buying into the Boise market. So, if the reason that there's not tons and tons and tons of fourplexes available is because lots of investors are trying to get into multifamily residential property in our market. And so that demand is allowing sellers to charge these premiums and still get their prices. Now that's not that by itself is not a sufficient reason to make a decision. It's like, oh, everybody else is doing it, so I should too. That's not what I'm proposing or what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the fact is that the Boise market is perceived by many investors, both local and non local, to be a quality place to put your money. And that's because Boise is considered to be an emerging market. We're always getting the national accolades, best place for this, best place for that, best place for this, and all of that stuff is driving growth in this market. So what you perceive to be a premium today may very well look like a discount 5 years from now. So because you're buying a quality product, which there's value there and warrants a bit of a premium, and because you're buying in an emerging market where what feels like a premium today may look like a discount in the future, I don't think that you need to, certainly you want to be cautious. That's always prudent. But I don't think that this is a position or a situation where you need to be overly concerned. It's a quality product amongst other quality products in a good part of town in a market that is growing and getting stronger every single day. So what she really needs, what she's saying is, I'm concerned about overpaying. What she needs is not a pro forma. What she needs is your reassurance. And she needs to understand the dynamics that we just discussed. So I will do that pro forma, but just know that it's not going to solve the problem. You're absolutely, and you're going to have to solve that. What you might want to do is think about taking her out for coffee or something, or maybe meeting her. Let's go meet at the property and walk the grounds again. Was there a little table out there, like a picnic table or a bench or someplace that you could sit? Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, I know. We'll look at they've given us multiple years worth of data, and so yeah, we'll look at we won't typically do a pro forma for 2017's data and then another one for 2016's data. What we'll do is we'll do a pro forma based upon the most recent complete year that we have, and then we'll do one pro forma, but we will look to previous year's data to um, gather questions. So the questions that we gather will come from any conflicts in data. So the agent gave us some data, and now the schedulee says something else. Other questions will come from, hey, this wasn't here in 2017, but it was here in 2016. What's that all about? What is this item? So we'll ask for more details. So so the pro forma will be based upon the most recent data, and the previous data will be used to help us formulate additional questions where there appears to be any anomalies. She's getting a loan, right? Yeah, absolutely. If we've specified financing on the purchase and sale agreement, then there's an appraisal contingency, and that appraisal contingency provides protection on the um, for appraisal. So now you used on this deal you used an RE21. Is that correct? I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Paragon. I'm sorry, I'm just checking. I could because I you use the non-standard document. I always like to. I don't. You use the right document. Don't get me wrong. But because it's yeah, it's right here. It's at line 22. Um, if this is not an all cash offer and an appraisal is required by the lender, which they always are, the property must appraise at not less than the purchase price, or buyer's earnest money shall be returned at buyer's request. So it's in section 3 of the RE23 financing contingency. Sure. So I have one more piece of advice to offer here, and let me get it out before I forget. It is um, so I remember this. I remember being in this scenario where I've got a buyer that's like wishy washy, and this is specifically in the investor space. So I don't remember what the property was, and I guess it doesn't matter. But um, so here's the advice. The advice is um, you're at risk. So here's what you don't want to do. Okay, you don't want to spend the next 3 weeks of your escrow having to put out this fire over and over again. Oh, I think it's too expensive. I'm not sure. You want to put out this fire once, and you want to be done with it. And you need to find a way to do that. Otherwise, you'll have to have the conversation. You'll have to talk her off of a ledge. 6 times between now and closing. So to do that, one thing that you can do is you can essentially in a roundabout way you can ask her to commit. So the way that it will work is um, so I remember saying this to investor clients. I remember saying to them, um, so I would have that conversation that you and I had a moment ago about quality product, quality market. It's a bit of a premium, but the value's there. In 5 years, you probably won't look at it as a premium anymore. You might look at it as you got it at a discount even. So it's all about perspective. So you have that conversation with her, and then you say, now, what I need to know from you is I'm about to spend 5 or 6 hours deciphering all the data, all the due diligence that I've gathered. I'm about to spend a significant amount of time crunching all those numbers and making sure that this property is as they represented it to be. Um, but I need to know in advance of doing all that work that if I do that work and the property is as the pro forma showed it to be, that you're interested in moving forward. Because if you're in a position right now where you're able to say no, even if this property was where I expected it to be, I don't want it anymore, then please do me the favor of telling me now, and I could spend that same 5 hours instead of doing work that will be worthless. I could spend that same 5 hours doing other work for you on researching other properties. So, so essentially, I need you to play the pretend game. If pretend that this property checks out to be the way that we thought it was, then are you willing to proceed? So let's pretend it checks out. If it does, are you willing to proceed or not? Because if the answer is no, you might as well tell me now, and we can reinvest our time elsewhere. So what this has the effect of doing is it has the effect of kind of locking them down, right? Because they're telling you yes or no right now, and that it doesn't it doesn't always work, but that can eliminate or at least limit the number of times you have to rehave the conversation over and over again. hmm Yeah, that's right. I think the whole conversation together is what seals the deal, right? It's a quality product. You talk about all that. It's a quality market. You talk about all that. You say it may feel like a premium right now, but in the future, it might feel like you bought it at a discount. And then you migrate into. And so what I need to know is I've gathered lots of information. I'm about to spend 4, 5, 6 hours deciphering all this data and doing a lot of verification work for you to make sure that this property is as it was represented to us to be. But if you've already decided that it's just, you don't want it anymore, tell me now, and I could spend that same 5 hours researching other properties for you. So I need you to, in your mind, I need you to make a decision on if this property checks out, if the numbers are as we expected them to be, or very close there too, are you interested in proceeding? Because if you are, then great. I'll do that work and we can make sure the numbers check out and you can proceed with the purchase. But if you know now that even if the numbers check out, that it's just you feel it's too expensive, then let me know now and I can spend that same time for you in other areas that will be more valuable for you. Um, Effectively what you're doing there is you're asking for a commitment, right? You're not that's the subtext, right? The subtext is, no, you know what, Randy, yeah, if this property does check out, I want it. Okay, great, I'll go do the work. And now when we come back to her, in 24 48 hours, with this verified pro forma, um, now she knows that she said yes. She's imposed upon you 5 hours of the work, and she's going to be a lot more locked into the property. So you'll therefore get less repeat from her. Exactly. So, no, I was going to say, if you can have that conversation with her, tonight or tomorrow morning, if you can get her on board with, yeah, you know what, Randy, if those numbers check out, I want to buy the property. If you can get her to that spot, call me back and we'll bust out that pro forma verification. Um, okay. You might want to. Okay, so you're feeling pretty good about it. I would still advise you to have the conversation with her, because feeling pretty good is a far cry from I did a reality check with her, got her to recommit, and she's on board. Um, because if she's wavering now and you don't quash that, that can fester and grow. And then again, you're having that conversation in a week, but this time she's way more serious about it. So I think you'd be better off having that conversation, quashing it, getting her to recommit, and then we do the pro forma work. Again, it falls into the same category as that walkthrough, right? It didn't make sense to do all the due diligence pro forma verification when we didn't even know if she was going to like the property after she walked through it. Now that she's has expressed some doubt, the same thing's true again. It's okay. Well, are you really interested in this property before we spend this time? So it's your call, of course. You know the client better than I, but that's my advice. So let me know. Just you let. Okay, cool. Then just let me know where she's at. Let me know what you need and when you need it, and I'll help you make it happen. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'll incorporate that as well. All right, sounds good. Let me know what she says. All right, cool. All right, bye bye. All right, so that was that. That's a project that I will be working on tonight or tomorrow, depending on what the client says. Okay, so Quail Ridge back mailer. Quail Ridge back mailer. Let's see, are we still even streaming? Yes, we are. Okay. Quail Ridge bottom photo, top center cloud. That's Savannah. Quail Ridge here. Okay, this is the Quail Ridge front, because we're talking about this guy right here. Okay, and then now we go to Quail Ridge back, because now we're talking about the bottom right image, this guy right here. Okay, and then the space of the borders not being right. Good. Oh, I have it twice. Okay, so I can just get rid of this now. And then the Quail Ridge here. So the photo. This is one. Center left photo does not reach. This is missing both the right or bottom border. You can see it's short on this side and it's short on that side, even shorter than the other template issues. And so this is See, that's a square there. So it looks like this template is fine. So the mailer template, once this image is adjusted, um, the mailer template looks like the borders were fine, but it looks somehow like this template got messed up with the borders, so we'll have to fix those guys. But was there anything else on the mailer? Right here, I would nudge this over a little bit to the right. Nudge bottom right photo to the right a little bit, so the ceiling tray is not cut off so close to the left edge. All right, and so we have that and that. Okay, that looks good. And then the last flyer we're going to do, whoops, daisies, is right here. So this is Hector's listing in Boise. It's got a great view of downtown, which we can kind of see through the window here, but not well because of that glare. So I'm wondering if we have a downtown photo we should add here, but let's look at everything one step at a time. Really cool looking property, 2.3 million. We have a black border at the bottom of this photo. So this is Skylark. Main top photo, this is Skylark front. And then one main top photo has black line at the bottom. Is there one at the top? Oh, and top. Top and bottom. Looks like perhaps you gave the bounding box a border? Question mark. All right. And it's not there or there. All right. This image is cool. I don't like how it's so much driveway. I'm going to say 2. Bottom image, too much driveway. Either nudge photo down a bit or resize in the frame to achieve better balance, or perhaps select different image, maybe the city skyline view. Okay. Impressive home in a wonderful location. This property offers a fabulous upfront city view with its oversized windows, giving you a perfect view. This property offers a fabulous upfront city view with its oversized windows, giving you a perfect view of the sun as it rises and sets. This property offers a fabulous upfront city view with its oversized windows. So, And I don't think it does. Does it? Can you see the sunrise and sunset? Because I think Skylark. Okay, so that's actually the property that we're looking at. And then there's well, I don't, well, it doesn't really matter. I know I'm looking this way. So here's downtown, and I'm there's the penitentiary. Okay, so there's north. Yeah, that's right. So north is this way, then that is south. So we're looking to the south, so we're going to see it. Um, so that is a fair statement. This property offers a fabulous upfront city view with its oversized windows, giving you a perfect view of the sun as it rises and sets. I'm going to just comment on it. First sentence, two views. Also, two views, one too many. And then four, we're going to say rises and sets equals two unneeded information, unneeded details. I don't know, I can see the sunrise and I can see the sunset. I guess it's kind of cool. I was just going to say perhaps a perfect view of the sun, a perfect view of the morning and afternoon sun. Um, um, so maybe it's more like awkward details. Maybe that was awkward. There we go. What an awkward spelling. Awkward details. Perhaps perfect view of the rising and setting. We could say rising afternoon. No, just the rising and setting sun. Obviously, it means everything in between. Um, um, a bit awkward, perhaps rising and setting sun. Okay. 5. Enjoy your morning meal at the gorgeous breakfast bar as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley, or have family barbecues as you look over. So, this is an action. As you look over the beauty. So, it's like as you look over the beauty. So, that's my action of the Treasure Valley. And then I want to read like I'm looking at something else beauty, because that word or ties into as you look over the beauty. So as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley or the city skyline. So you're expecting it to read one way, but you take a hard right turn, and now it's like a different sentence. So it might throw you off as you're reading it. So enjoy your morning meal at the gorgeous breakfast bar as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley. So I would change this to and, or maybe just a period. So enjoy your morning meal at the gorgeous breakfast bar as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley. Have family barbecues. Have family barbecues on the covered patio. Enjoy your morning meal at the gorgeous breakfast bar as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley. Or have family barbecues on the covered patio. This property offers a fabulous upfront city view with its oversized windows, giving you a perfect view of the sun as it rises and sets. Enjoy your morning meal at the gorgeous breakfast bar as you look over the beauty of the Treasure Valley, or have family barbecues on the covered patio. I'm going to leave it for now. I'll proof it again once we've made the other changes. We'll see how it flows. The master bedroom features a walk-in closet. Walk-in should be walk-in, I think. A walk-in closet with dual vanities. Cooking is made fun. So this is elegant. I don't think I want to use the word fun there. Property may be too elegant for the word fun to seem appropriate. Cooking is, so perhaps enjoyable, or cooking is, or an adventure, or cooking is an adventure. Cooking is an adventure with 2 spacious kitchens offering modern design and all-white countertops, something like that. Enjoyable and adventure. Cooking is, we'll say that, or an adventure. 7. Relish in the privacy of a home at the end of a no-through street, all while being just 17 city blocks from the state capitol building. Check out this brand new home today. We're going to make some adjustments to that. We'll make these changes first, then we'll do another round, kind of clean that up. And then let's look at this. This is definitely too dark. And it looks like we did some color adjustment here. You can see how this is reasonably balanced, maybe a little yellow, and this is way red. So, and we have the border size here again. So we're going to say bold, skylark back, and then 1 center left image does not reach right side border. 2, all images seem to be a bit dark. Use curves to adjust. Fine, a little too red, I think. That one. So center left image looks too red. If you did color adjustments here, start again with raw image and add less red. And then we also need mailer version. All right, so I think I'm going to stop there. So I've got all these notes for Alex. Sorry, Alex. I know you're good with it, but it's and I know I'm a perfectionist, but it'll be, once we start, honestly, you see a lot of stuff already on your own. Once you start seeing the stuff that I'm seeing, I think the whole process will just run a lot smoother. But it's just a matter of getting to that point. So I am going to email this stuff off to Alex, and next stream I do will be reviewing that Earth video. That'll be later tonight or tomorrow. And until then, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye.